Hi guys, welcome to the Music B&B. My name is Callum J and today we're reacting to Tyler Faruzzi with the album After Hours. Now if you like it, it's linked down in the description down below. I'll give you a bit of background about the album as we go through and start listening. Let's start with our first song. It's called Childhood Memories. So it's this artist's second studio album and first project collaborating with online producers. Most of the songs start out as raw piano demos recorded in single takes, sometimes late at night, or even between classes at college. The artist wanted the album to feel reflective, emotional, and cinematic while keeping the imperfections of the original demos. I like that. It blends soft piano compositions with fuller production inspired by memory, nostalgia, late night thoughts, and personal relationships. Songs like Childhood Memories and Between Two Voices are some of the most personal tracks that the artist has made. Main inspirations for this project include film scores, ambient piano music, emotional storytelling through atmosphere rather than heavy lyrics. I have to say, it sounds gorgeous right now. Closer. Now it's interesting, I don't often react to purely instrumental stuff, so I'm kind of interested to see how I react to this, what I can say, or even how I feel. Right now this feels kind of almost like bearing a soul to the world. It feels very fragile, feels very the title of the track says it really, Childhood Memories. It feels like I'm almost in a flashback of past memories. I mean, this little visual definitely does help paint that picture as well. Gorgeous. Liking how the I think the synth strings, they're kind of following along with the piano there. Nice. Included in this project are also demo versions of many tracks, so listeners can hear how the songs evolve from simple recordings to finished productions. We might give those a little dabble, a little listen to, perhaps towards the end. I don't know. We'll see where they appear in the track listing. And that feels a bit unsafe and sinister, but then we're resolving to this major kind of feel here. That's quite nice. It almost feels like the memories are not perfect, but there is like good stuff within it, which is exactly how all memories are, you know, childhood, not perfect. And now we're getting more like bravado, almost confidence building, like being sent out into the world as an adult. Your parents have helped you get to a place where you feel confident enough to go out. But you'll always remember. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Am I delving too deep into how the music is painting this picture? Or this is my own kind of take on it, I guess. Very nice. Elizabeth. Oh, please tell me Elizabeth is this very cute dog. One noticeable difference. This track is a lot quieter than the first one. I'm going to turn it up on here for you guys. So the first 9 tracks are the more polished versions. Then from 10 to 17 is the demos. So what I might do is when we get to the demos, we'll have a listen to each of them, maybe a brief, 30 seconds to a minute, so we can get the idea of where we came from. I quite like that though, to see how things develop. Yeah, this track is a lot quieter than the first one, which kind of has drawn me away from the experience a bit, because sometimes, as I remember when I used to download things on LimeWire, entire albums, but they come from different sources, there was nothing more annoying than having to turn up for one song and then have something really loud for the next song and turn it down again. It's hard to get that balance, but what I suggest you do is, once all your songs are made, line them up in your DAW and just check they're all kind of hitting the same decibel level. Cute dog. Nom 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 nom. Not very good. Sorry about that. I went weird. Moonlit Streets. Yeah, that song Elizabeth was good. Just quiet. Felt very similar to Childhood Memories, to my ears at least. Got a little beat here, we've got a very soft bass drum. The titling of each track is quite good. You can imagine these moonlit streets, and this is, you can picture the streets and this music playing, how it would feel. Nice. Out of tune. This better be out of tune. Okay, so turning this down. Leveling, as I've said, between tracks. I'm enjoying the jauntiness, the spikiness of this track. The staccato of the notes being played is good. This feels like a background music for Sherlock or something, you know. It just feels quite like a London streets. Something sinister's going on. Feels like the start of like some kind of Cockney film, Artful Dodger-esque. A camera's panning over London, 1800s London. Smoke billowing out of chimney stacks over in the distance. Sweeney Todd-esque film. I'm done now with my imagery. Between two voices. I'm assuming this is about parents, perhaps, or grandparents? Feels very loving in its sound. It's lovely. It's gorgeous. Just found myself lost in it. Really nice that we had a bit of a crescendo and then just left with the piano.
Mr. Tyler, this is your grandfather, one of your biggest fans. Have a great day, little one. Love you. Bye.
Ah, that's sweet. After the rain. One thing I have picked up on and noticed about a lot of the songs is they are very much just straightforward note, or no, do da 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 bada booda bada bada do da bada bada booda bada bada booda bada. I would love to see more variation playing around rhythmically. You know, bum ba da ba da 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 bum ba ba da ba da ba da ba. I know that sounds a bit more jazzy and scatty from what I'm saying, but I think I'd love a bit more variation from that. And perhaps, and I think a lot of pianists tend to forget this, there's no harm in going to simple. It doesn't always have to be two-hand work. You can go back to one hand for a bit, you know. And there's so much power in silence, and let's not forget that. The end of Between Two Voices, where everything dropped out and it was just left with the piano, was so effective and beautiful because there was less, you know. And don't forget that sometimes less is more, and doing some silence every now and then, you know. Remove that left hand, or just have the left hand, or just have a half a bar of silence, you know, before another bar. Those kinds of things always help. But at the same time, these all sound quite cinematic. I think all of these songs would fit very nicely in some kind of romantic film, some love film. They all feel quite of that world. But then out of tune, it does feel like, but it feels very different. Whereas I'd say everything else sounds a bit similar, not in a bad way, but it just does sound quite similar in its feel, you know. The Quiet Hour. I'm enjoying the rhythm of this one. In some ways it feels quite warming, and I don't know, it's giving Christmassy vibes. Maybe some Coldplay. There's something in that offbeat dim, 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 that's it's got real nice kind of movement to it. And that bass just going dun 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 dun. And the fact that it's kind of just held on this drone throughout in this song. Very nice. Okay, now we're descending here, yeah. Doesn't feel like Christmas at all. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. After Hours is our penultimate track, at least of the fully produced songs. Quite pretty, that. I do like how the track order's got the Quiet Hour, After Hours, Last Song of the Night. It kind of is following some kind of structure in the final kind of few tracks. Next up, we're listening to some of the demos. As I say, I'll give you a little taste of each of them, so we can get an idea of where this kind of all started and where it ended up. I think I'm at this point. I've kind of heard what I need to hear. We've got some percussion there. That's nice. Perhaps some variation instrumentally might add a bit more flavour to some of these tracks. Because, like I say, when I heard that percussion, that was interesting. But the kind of the MIDI synth cinematic strings were good. Definitely good, great. But I think in terms of an album, we want kind of variation instrumentally across a project. So, you know, keep the piano, but behind it, what could we have instead, you know? Could it be a horn section? We did have actually a horn section in one of them, but cello, does it have to be orchestral? Right, let's listen to Childhood Memories demo. Skip ahead in here. There we go. Nice. Very kind of proficiently played. Obviously, it's a lot quieter. So I might turn this up a bit. This Moonlit Streets. I think the only demo we don't have is Elizabeth demo, track 2. Then we got Lost Somewhere, who knows? Lost to the sands of time. See like the more human inconsistencies in playing perhaps, and yeah, my question is then, because there's definitely slip-ups in the piano, how did they disappear in the final product? Was it replayed in, or was it MIDI playing it in? Or was somebody else paid to play it in? A few questions I have about that, because it seems very clean on those other tracks. Missing some of the accidental notes that we hear. Listen to out of tune. It sounds more out of tune on this one. Intrigued to see the process here, to be honest. It's raising a few questions for me. Yeah. But these are the first ever, these could just be the voice memos for the real things played in, Okay, lovely, right. I think I get the idea of these demos, so I'm going to stop there. Let's review this project. We'll start first of all with the flow of the project. When I'm thinking of this project, I'm more going from tracks 1 to 9, then thinking about the demos from 10 onwards. So overall, I think it did flow quite nicely. It did feel a bit samey in places, and perhaps more could have been done to the track structures to make them more interesting. For example, silence is golden at times. Less is more in places. Maybe some variation instrumentally. But overall, I think the flow was quite nice. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, I think, for the flow. Then let's talk about the production. I thought it was really well produced from tracks 1 to 9. Done very, very well, very crisp and clean, but perhaps lacking maybe some of the spiky human edges I was kind of expecting from pieces. Maybe a little too polished in some areas. Could have done with a bit more flavor production wise, some interesting things to help with the progression, perhaps some risers and fallers, perhaps some nice interesting instrumentals in the background, some interesting synth pads, instead of your stock plugins, cinematic synth violin, so production I'm going to give a 6, I think, as well. Then let's talk about the artwork. I thought the artwork was quite nice. The artist did mention they had some kind of minimal AI done on this, perhaps as a filter or something, I'm not too sure. But looking at this artist's other projects, for example, they have something called Crash Course Deluxe. Just looking at the artwork, which is clearly AI, it does make it off-putting to want to look at. Perhaps when AI was first coming out, it would have looked interesting, but to me and to a lot of people, AI artwork is just very, very quickly becoming unappealing. And we could pay someone to definitely make something for us or draw it ourselves, or like in some things, like Between Two Voices, just taking a picture of something, just uploading that. I think more people are after that these days, So yeah, the instrumental playing was fantastic, though. Although I do think at some times just followed a very rigid, on the beat type of thing, whether it was 16ths or 8th notes or something. It just kind of stuck with that. The times where it was more interesting was definitely when there was kind of more straying from that very cookie cutter path, and a bit more variation was going on the piano. I just like to hear a bit of a interesting rhythm, something going on that makes it interesting. But that is just me, and these are just opinions, and they're things to consider in the future when creating pieces. But yeah, I mean, lovely. Like you would hear any of tracks 1 to 9 within a piece of cinema or on a TV show or something, and it would fit beautifully within it. It absolutely would. They're gorgeous backing that would definitely work very well in a cinematic kind of setting, but just to put on and relax to as well, to fall asleep to. It's the perfect music for that. So there's so much to enjoy from this, and some things to definitely develop on. Overall, if I can give the project rating, I'd probably give it about 6.5 out of 10. I think that's kind of reasonable and fair. Let's have a bit more variation, a bit more going on within the mix, and I think it could be brilliant. I liked Between Two Voices, where you had like some vocal clips and stuff like that, just small production things that make tracks that just a little bit more interesting. And I know it's instrumental, but the human ear is definitely more susceptible to the human voice, so that is included in some way, in maybe small vocal chops, maybe choirs in the background or something, I don't know, but it could just make it that little bit more, give it that little bit of spice. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments down below. And remember, in a world where everyone wants to be heard and no one's doing the listening, be the one that does the listening. Goodbye, I guess. And now it feels so good to say hello, 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 hello. And now it feels so right to say I miss you, I love you. And God, it feels so good to say hello. God, it feels so good to say hello.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen.